Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into something called princess treatment in relationships.
Yeah, it's based on a YouTube video transcript from Thewizardliz. She has some, let's say, strong views on expectations.
Definitely. So our mission here is to kind of unpack those ideas, especially around money and, how partners treat each other.
Exactly. We're not saying it's the way, but it's a perspective worth exploring. We'll keep it practical, not too academic.
Right. And that brings us to you listening. What do you actually expect from a partner? Seriously, where do those ideas even come from?
Good question to hold on to. Okay, so where does she start?
Well, she kicks things off with this core belief. You basically get what you expect out of life.
That's a strong starting point. It sets the stage for everything else, really. Your expectations kind of shape your reality in relationships.
And she ties it directly to her own life, specifically watching her mother.
Right. She saw her mom supporting a partner financially, going through hard times.
Only to see that same ex-partner later fully provide for someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And that, she says, fundamentally shaped her expectation that her partner should cover everything financially.
So it's personal. But she builds on it, arguing that aiming high, expecting that level of treatment, it's not just about money.
No, she suggests it sets a baseline. If you expect that, you're more likely to get the fundamentals. Respect, honesty, love, loyalty.
Like setting the bar high in one area lifts the whole thing.
Sort of, yeah. That seems to be the idea. And then she tackles the pushback.
Oh yeah, the whole that's unreasonable or even anti-feminist argument against men providing.
She flips it. She asks, why is it totally accepted, like normal, for a single mom to financially support multiple kids?
But the idea of a man providing for his partner gets side-eye from some people.
Exactly. It forces you to look at those assumptions about gender roles, financial responsibility. Is there a double standard?
And her point about feminism, that maybe it's not feminist for women to feel they have to juggle absolutely everything, career, kids, house.
Right. It's a different take on equality.
Yeah.
Maybe equality doesn't mean doing it all yourself.
But it's not just theoretical, is it? She gives an example.
The therapy example, right.
Yeah.
Her current partner made it possible for her to go to therapy when she couldn't afford it herself.
Which really underlines the why. It's not just wanting stuff. It can be about enabling personal growth, well-being.
Totally. It adds that layer. It's support, not just spoiling. She's careful to make that distinction. It's about respect and care, fundamentally.
Okay, what about common stereotypes, like the idea that rich guys just want to control you?
She addresses that head on. Her counter is pretty blunt. Guys with no money can also be controlling and demanding, expecting the wifey treatment without giving anything back.
Fair point. So entitlement isn't just tied to wealth.
Apparently not, in her view. It's about not being, easy, as she puts it, easy to exploit, letting an imbalance develop where you're giving way more.
This leads into a really key idea she has, doesn't it? The difference between wealth and something else.
Yes, the provider mindset. This is crucial to her argument. She contrasts a wealthy ex who didn't really share.
With her current partner, who might not be as wealthy, but has that mindset and consistently provides because he wants to.
Exactly. It's about the intention, the desire to care for your partner, prioritize them. It's not just the number in the bank account.
So someone could have that mindset even if they don't have a ton of money right now. They contribute what they can.
That seems to be the idea. It's the underlying drive. But she also adds a dose of realism.
Yeah, gotta have realistic expectations based on actual income. You
Sure.
can't expect champagne on a beer budget, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And she also kind of warns against being overly impressed by flashy stuff.
Yeah.
Constant luxury flexing, maybe insecurity.
Right. She values building real generational wealth over just looking rich.
Which ties into spotting performative wealth. The guys who show off constantly but never actually share it with you.
So her advice is,
Ask for tangible support. Don't just be wowed by the car or the watch. See if they actually come through with help when you need it. Cuts through the noise.
okay, makes sense. But how do you even bring this stuff up? It sounds awkward.
Well, she advocates for being upfront, like really upfront. From the beginning of dating?
She actually says, she tells them she expects to be taken care of.
Yep, that's her approach.
Yeah.
Lay it out there, and then watch their actions, even the small things, on early dates. Do they offer to pay? Are they considerate?
And if they're not meeting those initial basic expectations,
Move on. Don't waste time trying to change someone or hoping they'll magically step up later if the signs aren't there early. Find the match.
but there's a fine line here, right, between stating expectations and demanding things.
Huge difference. She emphasizes being honest about what you want or need, Maybe it is an allowance. She suggests being open about that, but never demand it.
Why the strong stance against demanding?
Because, as she puts it, your partner doesn't owe you anything. Spoiling, providing. It should come from a genuine desire to do it, not obligation.
That makes sense. Resentment builds otherwise.
Exactly. She even shares a story about her boyfriend being really turned off by an ex who was very demanding. It kills the generosity impulse, apparently.
Okay, so communication is key, but how you communicate matters. What about talking about past relationships? That's always tricky.
Her advice here is strategic. Don't talk about how badly your ex has treated you.
Really? Why not? Seems counterintuitive.
Her reasoning is that if you say your ex was awful, a new guy might think, okay, I just need to be slightly less awful to impress her.
Ah, setting the bar low.
Right. Instead, she suggests implying your exes were good providers. This sets a higher benchmark for the new person to meet or beat.
Interesting tactic, sort of leveraging expectations.
Yeah, and speaking of leveraging things, she also talks about tapping into male competitiveness.
How so?
By casually mentioning how well your female friends are treated by their partners. The idea is it might trigger his own competitive drive to, measure up or do even better.
Like, oh, Sarah's boyfriend just bought her that bag she wanted.
Exactly. She gives a personal example where she mentioned wanting something, and boom, her partner went and got it. It can work, she suggests.
Okay, moving beyond tactics. She also talks about the power of simply expressing need and appreciation.
Yes, this is fundamental. She actively pushes against the whole I don't need a man attitude.
Why? Isn't independence good?
It is, but she argues that constantly projecting I don't need anything can make a partner feel, unneeded. It might discourage them from making an effort.
So it's okay to let yourself be helped, even with small things.
Absolutely. Let him open the jar, carry the heavy bag, whatever. It gives him a chance to contribute, to feel valued, to feel needed. That's important, she argues.
And if they don't feel needed or appreciated?
The implication is they might look for that appreciation elsewhere. Feeling valued is a core human need, right? She even mentions her brother wanting to feel helpful.
So practically, what does expressing need look like?
Could be asking for help with a task, needing a ride, maybe asking for help with a bill, if appropriate, and within reason. She mentions a friend who straight up asked for a card with an allowance and got it.
Wow, okay, so it's about overcoming the fear of asking.
Seems like it. She talks about her own shift from being hesitant to just openly saying what she wants or needs. It sounds like it worked for her.
What about gifts? Sometimes guys are clueless.
Yeah. Her advice. Guide them. Tell them what you like, specific brands, specific items. Make it easy for them to get you something you'll actually love.
Takes the guesswork out.
Right. Maybe even point things out when you're together. It avoids disappointment on both sides.
And when they do get it right, or do something thoughtful.
Show genuine happiness. Appreciate it. Positive reinforcement is huge. If you act happy and grateful, they're motivated to do it again.
And the flip side, being ungrateful or critical.
Kills the vibe. Discourages future effort. Makes total sense.
She also has this interesting idea about making it seem like it was his idea. How does that work?
It's subtle. Like, instead of saying, buy me Chanel, maybe say, oh, I can't decide between this Chanel bag and that Dior one. You guide the options, but let him make the final choice.
Gentle guidance, making him feel like the provider he is or wants to be.
Exactly. Using positive affirmations about his provider qualities can reinforce that too, she suggests.
Now, does a woman need to be super traditionally feminine, like always in dresses, to attract this kind of provider?
Interestingly, no. She pushes back on that. What makes you feel good, what makes you feel confident? Because confidence is what's truly attractive.
That's refreshing. Not about conforming to a stereotype.
Not at all. Authenticity and self-assurance seem key.
Okay, towards the end, she brings in some slightly more esoteric ideas, like the law of receiving.
Yeah, the divine feminine concept, the idea that women need to be energetically open to receiving, and that paradoxically, men who give generously to the women in their lives, mothers, partners, often find that their own abundance increases.
She shares personal stories about that.
Anecdotes about her and her partner experiencing financial blessings that she links back to acts of provision and care towards women. It adds a sort of spiritual layer to her perspective.
So, wrapping it all up, what's the final message?
It really comes down to high personal standards, believing you deserve the best, and acting accordingly.
Okay, so let's recap the core takeaways from this deep dive. It really seems to boil down to setting clear expectations, first and foremost.
Definitely. And understanding that providing can look different ways. It's not just about being rich. That provider mindset is key.
Right. And the huge role of communication being clear, but not demanding, and showing genuine appreciation.
And underpinning it all is that internal belief, that self-worth, believing you actually deserve good treatment.
So that leaves a final thought for you, the listener. Take a second to think about your expectations in relationships. Are you truly comfortable voicing them?
Yeah, and maybe even more importantly, deep down, do you believe you're worthy of receiving what you desire? What's one small thing, maybe even today, you could do to align your expectations, your actions, and your belief in your own worth?